In the movie version, politics can be pretty simple. First, voters elect someone they think will best represent their interests. Then, that elected official will work and take votes in Washington on their behalf of the people they're representing, to serve the interests of the people they're representing, delivering on their promises to make their constituents' lives better, even when at times it's politically difficult. The politician then provides updates and what they've been working on, what they've been up to the people who elected them. And finally, if the voters are still happy with their record by the next campaign, they'll elect them again. But recently, a number of Republican politicians have skipped a pretty important step in that process. Apparently, for this crop of elected officials, voting against legislation and even aggressively attacking that legislation does not prevent you from taking credit for its benefits. And maybe they think no one will notice. Unclear. Let's start with infrastructure. It was passed with bipartisan support, and the members who supported it should absolutely go out and brag about the benefits. Many of them have. The problem is that a number of Republican members who voted against the bipartisan infrastructure package have since come out of the woodwork to tout the benefits to their districts. Congressman Ashley Hinton of Iowa called the bipartisan infrastructure package, quote, Washington gamesmanship, spending at its worst. Strong words, Congresswoman. Sounds like you hate that bill. But 2 months later, she praised the nearly $830 million in federal funding that the state received as game-changing. That's quite a flip. Senator Tommy Tuberville, remember that guy, of Alabama, voted against the bill because it was, quote, loaded with giveaways to big cities and pet projects that have little to do with real infrastructure. So it all seemed to get really under his skin, investing in roads and railways and bridges, except apparently when it came to projects in his own state of Alabama. Just last month, the senator lauded the $1 billion his state received to boost efforts to expand broadband access, which, by the way, who is against broadband access? Congresswoman Nancy Mace called the infrastructure bill a fiasco and a socialist wish list. Recently, she held a press conference to discuss the nearly $30 million in funding that was secured for the Charleston Area Regional Transportation Authority. Doesn't sound like she thinks that was a fiasco. Congressman Sam Graves, the chairman of the House Transportation Committee, was another who voted against the bill. But that didn't stop him from posting this after his district received funding for highway repairs. This is what he posted. Congratulations to all who helped secure this funding. Congratulations indeed. Not to him, though, I guess. Look, I get it. Everybody loves infrastructure. People want their roads and their railways and their bridges improved. They want broadband access. It's an easy thing to praise, even if you did vote against it. But what's interesting is that it's not just infrastructure funds that some Republicans are trying to take credit for. It's also the expansion of clean manufacturing in districts across the country. Expansion that has boomed in large part because of the clean energy tax credits in the Inflation Reduction Act, or the big climate bill that was passed. Take a look at Marjorie Taylor Greene. In August of 2022, the congresswoman said that clean energy would, quote, put America back into darkness. I don't think she understands the science there. And that the Inflation Reduction Act was, quote, an America last disaster. But in April, Greene tweeted favorably about the expansion of the solar company Qcells and the jobs it would create in her district. Here's the thing. I think you know where I'm going here. Qcells specifically attributed the new investment to the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act. In Oklahoma, Governor Kevin Stitt praised a new $1 billion investment in a solar cell and panel factory. Governor Stitt had called the Inflation Reduction Act, quote, disastrous and insanity. Investing in clean energy is insanity, everyone. And yet, according to the company, the new investment was made because of the tax credits in the Inflation Reduction Act. I could go on here, but as much as Republicans decry President Biden's legislation, they and their communities are all largely benefiting. And no surprise, because these types of investments are hugely popular. They also help the economy. They grow industries. They put people back to work. That's a good thing. That's how good legislation is supposed to work. It helps everyone, even the ones who try to take credit after attempting to tank its success. Again, maybe they thought they wouldn't notice.